History often feels like a highlight reel of triumphs, but today's world was shaped just as much by spectacular mistakes. These failures weren't small slip-ups. They were decisions that made leaders say, "It'll be fine," right before everything wasn't. Our story begins in 1914, when European powers treated alliances like group chats that accidentally started a world war. Austria-Hungary wanted to punish Serbia. Germany said, "We've got your back." And suddenly, everyone was packing for disaster. Leaders assumed the war would be quick, like a summer vacation, and instead got 4 years of mud, gas, and trauma. World War I shattered empires, redrew borders blindly, and planted resentment like landmines across Europe. At Versailles in 1919, the victors punished Germany so harshly that peace felt more like a revenge sequel. John Maynard Keynes warned, "This will end badly," and history replied, "Excellent foreshadowing." The humiliation and economic strain helped create the conditions for extremist politics to thrive. One failed peace deal later, Adolf Hitler found an audience ready to listen. In the 1930s, democratic governments tried ignoring Hitler, hoping he'd calm down if given enough territory. Neville Chamberlain waved a piece of paper and declared peace for our time, which aged terribly. Appeasement taught dictators a dangerous lesson. Aggression works if no one stops you early. World War II followed, proving that avoiding conflict can sometimes guarantee a bigger one later. As the war ended, another mistake quietly took shape, wrapped in optimism and mistrust. The United States and Soviet Union became allies against Hitler, then instantly suspicious roommates afterward. Each side assumed the other was plotting domination, and paranoia became official policy. The Cold War turned fear into a system, with nuclear weapons as the ultimate do not press button. Leaders built enough bombs to destroy the planet several times, just to feel safe once. The world survived multiple near misses, proving that humanity occasionally lives on borrowed luck. Meanwhile, colonial empires began collapsing, often with borders drawn by people who never lived there. In the Middle East, European powers carved nations with straight lines and zero cultural homework. The result was chronic instability, as communities were told to coexist without consent or preparation. One British official allegedly said, "They'll figure it out," which history translated as "they did not." In 1947, Britain rushed its exit from India, splitting it into India and Pakistan almost overnight. The hurried partition triggered mass migration, violence, and trauma that still echo today. Speed, not planning, became the enemy, turning independence into catastrophe for millions. Around the same time, China experienced another world-changing failure rooted in overconfidence. Mao Zedong launched the Great Leap Forward, promising rapid industrial growth through sheer willpower. Farmers were told steel, and slogans mattered more than crops, and famine followed. Tens of millions died, proving that ignoring reality is not a revolutionary strategy. Yet the lesson didn't end there, because power rarely enjoys admitting mistakes. In the 1960s, the United States entered Vietnam believing superior technology guaranteed victory. Officials spoke confidently about progress, while secretly wondering why nothing worked. Guerrilla warfare, public mistrust, and unclear goals turned confidence into chaos. Vietnam showed that military power means little without understanding people and purpose. The war reshaped American politics, media skepticism, and public protest culture. Then came a quieter failure with enormous consequences, ignoring the environment. For decades, industries treated nature like a free trash bin with unlimited capacity. Scientists warned about climate change, and leaders replied, "Let's circle back later." That delay locked the modern world into warming trends that are now hard to reverse. Failure here wasn't one decision, but many small ones stacking like unpaid bills. In 2008, another bill came due, this time from global finance. Banks assumed housing prices would rise forever, which is never how forever works. Risky loans were repackaged, sold, and praised until the system collapsed under its own optimism. The financial crisis wiped out savings, jobs, and trust in institutions worldwide. Governments learned too late that complexity without accountability is a recipe for disaster. More recently, misinformation became history's newest unintended consequence. Technologies built to connect people also spread falsehoods faster than facts. Societies discovered that truth struggles when algorithms reward outrage. Leaders underestimated how quickly confusion could become a political weapon. The result has been polarization, mistrust, and democracy under pressure. Looking back, these failures don't random. They follow patterns. Overconfidence, short-term thinking, and ignoring inconvenient experts appear again and again. Each mistake reshaped borders, systems, or beliefs in lasting ways. Progress, it turns out, is often built on ruins rather than victories. History doesn't punish arrogance immediately. It waits until the bill is enormous. The past whispers warnings, but humanity keeps turning up the music. Still, failure isn't just destruction, it's also instruction. Every collapse forces new ideas, reforms, and cautious hope. International cooperation grew because isolation failed spectacularly. Human rights expanded because cruelty proved unsustainable. Environmental movements rose because neglect became impossible to ignore. Each painful lesson nudged the world forward, reluctantly but undeniably. The irony is that today's stability rests on yesterday's disasters. We live inside the consequences of people who thought they were right. History asks one recurring question: have we learned anything yet? Sometimes the answer is yes, often whispered, rarely shouted. Other times, the answer is still loading, buffering between wisdom and repetition. And that is why history's biggest fails continue shaping the world we wake up in today.